Hi guys, this is Guru Tim from the web. Today what we're going to be looking at is how to take an old soft drink can and some cutting dies and create some Christmas decorations. So what we're going to need is our Big Shot, our Tim Holtz tonic shears, obviously the cutting dies, a couple of drink cans, and then we'll colour them using a alcohol marker such as a Copic. So let's get into it. So first up we're going to cut our can. So we just get the scissors into it and start cutting. You will find you get a few little spikes on the way through, so just be careful of them, but overall the aluminium is not as sharp as what you'd expect. You can run your hands across it and not really cut yourself with it. So it's really just the spikes you want to watch out for. So that's one end, and you can see we've got, you know, little jagged spikes there. So overall it's not too bad. So we'll take the other end off as well. So punch a little hole in there and cut around. Don't worry too much if you dent it on the way through, it won't really matter. And then we'll just cut straight across the middle. You can see we've got a nice clean cut there. I can run my finger up there quite comfortably, no cutting, so don't be too worried about that. Now just roll it out backwards just to try and get the shape that you want. Stop it from curling quite as much. So there we've got it there. I put a small crease in, but like I said, that doesn't really matter. And what we're going to be doing next is using our dies, we'll start to cut out some patterns. So we can choose all different patterns here. So I'm working with a Christmas theme. So I'll do a few different cuts and then we'll work through and do some colouring. So I've got my platform on position number 2. So completely closed. I put on my Perspex with my rubber mat. On top of that I'll put my piece of tin with my die cut and the top plate. Remembering I always use the same plate for the bottom so that it gets all the score marks, not the top. We wind it through and back again. And there we have a much better result. So you can see it's got the edges embossed on it, all ready for us to colour. Now with your die cuts, it's always good to store them on a magnetic base because, as you'll see here, if I just put them back in their original tray, they just slide around. So you can get magnetic bases specifically for these and put them into a folder and keep them well organized. Otherwise you run the risk of them falling out and losing them. So while I'm not setting the example here, I do recommend that you get a base. Alright, so we've got our cut out pieces there in a few different shapes. And using Copics, I'm just going to put some colour onto these. So with a Christmassy theme, we'll be going with some green sort of colours. Now Copics all come with a number on the side. So this is a YG17, yellow green 17, and then we've got the YG11. So it basically defines the different shades. Now that's a whole topic in itself, how you can blend and shade with them. But the key here is they will stick on metal. You can blend through or you can just do them as a constant colour. So we'll jump in and see how they mark up. Now our Copics all have two ends. So this is the chisel tip, sorry, the pointy tip, and this is the chisel tip. So depending on what you're doing, you can get very, very fine detail for maybe getting in the grooves in this case, or we can just apply a whole heap at once. And you can even blend on the tips, but as I said before, we'll cover that in a separate video. So I'm just going to go with the chisel straight over the top, which will not fill in the grooves because we'll do them in a different colour after. So we can just go straight over, and you can see there it's picking up some nice colour. Use the tip just to get into those corners there. Okay, so you can see it's gone from a metal blade's a bit hard in this lighting, but a metallic finish to now just a green tinge on it. So if I hold up the one that wasn't coloured, you can see there is a difference there. So I could go over that a second time now that it's dried and make it darker, or I could make the edges darker just by using a different shade around the edges. And just working around the edges, I can just give that a slightly darker finish. If you need to blend it, there is a blending marker and you can make them bleed into each other a little bit better. Alright, now to give the woody centre, we'll grab one of the browns. And this time I'm using the finer point so I can get straight up the middle there. And up each of these veins. So now we have it with the browned off parts in the middle. And we could go through and do that with all the others. I won't do that while we're filming, I might do it after. Just for the berries, I'm just going to make a nice red berry. And you might like to make the surrounds brown or something that blends in with your backgrounds. So now that we've got them coloured, we can just choose a suitable sheet. So maybe that. Sort of lose the red in there, but the greens stand out beautifully. And once you've done that, you can glue them down, twist the corners a little bit just to give them a bit more depth. And it really brings your project to life. Just gives it that 3D sort of a finish in whatever pattern you want. Put it on a different colour. I think that one goes quite nicely together. So we've got the browns in my inner leaves matching with the browns on the outer with the berries. So whatever you want to do, left old soft drink can, a die cut, and you're in business.